John Madden's so legendary, they already have a movie coming out about John Madden. You got Nicolas Cage playing Madden, and I've seen some pictures of him. He kind of looks exactly like Madden. What do? Fill him up with pillows?
Yeah,
when I used to fill myself up with pillows, I'd be in one corner, my brother would be in the other corner, and we call it Zooms, and you just get as big as you possibly can, stuff as many pillows as you can, and then you would run full speed at each other.
Let me explain something to some people out there. For all you people that think like, oh, I got a baby Gronk in my house. Look at this kid's. His form of entertainment was running full speed into a wall with pillows, okay?
into another person, not a wall.
Built different.
Into another person.
The form of entertainment was playing hockey downstairs and running into each other with pillows.
Full contact.
Rules. Okay, back to Madden. Welcome to Dudes on Dudes. I'm Julian Edelman.
I'm Rob Gronkowski.
And this is the show where your favorite dudes get to talk about their favorite dudes.
And today we're talking about a couple of folk heroes from the world of football.
What are we talking about today?
The legend of Mike Alstott.
He is the perfect 4-minute back.
He could play in any era. Any era.
What made John Madden such a great broadcaster?
I mean, John Madden set the standard.
His name is synonymous with football.
And also what it's like to be on the cover of Madden. You're looking at your boy. You know, to be recognized like that, you know.
It's an honor. EA Sports. It's in the game. And then we wrap it up by reacting to some of the hottest takes in this week's Chillest Dude of the Week presented by Coors Light. Stick around to the very, very end. Let's go.
Dudes on Dudes is a production of iHeartRadio.
We're here in Boston. We brought Dudes on Dudes back in Boston. We are back in Boston. And every time we come back to Boston, does it not feel like home?
It feels like home every single time, especially when, you know, the flowers are blossoming. The sun is out. It's 65 degrees. It's a beautiful spring day. You know, you see just people happy walking the streets. I feel like I belong, you know, and that's the best feeling, you know. That's when you know it's a home, is when you feel like you just belong here. And we both belong here in the city of Boston. It will be a home forever, Jules. And it's Memorial Day weekend as well.
What does that mean?
We want to recognize.
Wait. How come you wait? First off, explain why you know what this means.
Yes, I know what Memorial Day weekend is because Bill, every single time a holiday comes up, he explains what the holiday means and what it represents, especially if it has something to do with the military.
Yeah.
So every single time Bill would call up the team meeting, we would usually have off Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, which everyone loved. You had a 4-day weekend off of OTAs.
Shout out for Gowie.
Bill would bring you up in the team meeting, bring the team together in the meeting, the final team meeting of the day on Thursday before he lets everyone go for the whole, 4-day weekend. And he would explain what Memorial Day weekend is and what it represents. Remembering all of the veterans that have fallen and sacrificed their lives for our country so we can have the freedom that we have to this day. And that's what we want to do right now before we get started, is recognize and give tribute to all the fallen soldiers out there that have paid their duties and did the ultimate sacrifice for our families, our country, for their families, for our friends, and putting it all on the line. So we thank them, we thank their families, and let's give them a quick, 5 seconds of moment of silence right now, Jules.
Moment of silence.
There we go.
That was touching, Rob. That was touching.
I learned from Coach Belichick.
Yeah,
hey.
But we're also a big military podcast. You do a lot of. Have you visited? Where have you gone? You've gone some crazy places.
Yeah, last year I did like a USO trip.
Yeah.
But it wasn't technically a true USO trip. I did it with Monster because Monster did so many USO trips. They always combine, but they kind of separated a little bit. So Monster just went off on their own and brought me to Poland last year. And I visited 4 different military bases, United States military bases. And it's just so cool. And it's so touching because the people there get excited. The troops there get excited because they do the same thing every single day. They grind, they, shoot their tanks, they're replicating, a mission, and it's kind of the same thing on a regular basis. So I got to show up, got to switch up their routine. Got to meet me. They got to show me all the tanks that they get to shoot. I got to shoot some tanks, shoot some guns. And it's rewarding to them. It's rewarding to me as well. And it puts a smile on their face, which is the most important thing. And it gets their mind off of what's going on a daily basis with all the war that's going on over there, overseas, and what they're preparing for. So whenever I have a chance, I get to, I love to do things like that.
Yeah, I went out and visited the USS George Washington and stayed a night over in Brazil when they were on a mission going around the whole continent, South America, while they were on their way up to, I can't disclose locations because, I don't want to piss off Cap. He's from Alabama, big Bama, Roll Tide guy. Cap, I won't say. But
who's Cap?
The captain of the ship.
Oh, okay. Captain. Okay, I got you.
But I will say, like you said, it gives you a perspective when you go into their day-to-day life. We stayed and we visited every part of the ship. We visited the fire department, we visited the mechanics, we visited the guys the pilots, the people that got the food ready. It's a whole community. There's like 4,000 people on this big ass ship. And the craziest thing to me is that the average age was like 19 years old. Mm-hmm. These are young people that are essentially joining the military to allow us to do what we get to do, and that's talk stupid shit on this stupid camera in this dumb microphone. So it's because of those people that fight for our freedom, that sacrifice their freedom so they can go out and fight for ours. That's class act. My grandpa served in the Navy. You have some family that served. So, big military podcast. Shout out to all the fallen soldiers. That's what Memorial Day's for. And it's kind of the kickoff to summer. Memorial Day is the kickoff to summer. Not summer quite yet, June 21st. But it is the kickoff to summer.
And it's also like when you expect the weather to be above 70 degrees every single day. And if it's not, say if it's like 50 and rainy here in the New England area, you get pissed now. It's fine that it's cold like in April, beginning of May. But once Memorial Day hits and that weather drops, you get angry. It needs to be 70 plus every day now and sunny. And let me tell you, it just feels better. It just pops up here when it's sunny because it's not sunny for about 8 months around here, 7 months. And when it is, it feels like Florida during spring break.
It does.
That's why I love it up here at this time.
So Robbie, you were, I watched on TV on Fox, the Indianapolis 500, one of the, our favorite race events. Right in Indianapolis. I think 3 million people go to that thing. It's like the biggest sporting event in the United States of America, which people don't really realize if you're not a race guy.
Well, it's actually the biggest sporting event in the whole entire world.
Oh, shit.
For one given day. There has never been a sporting event besides the Indy 500 where there's over 350,000 spectators watching the race. And I would probably say over 400,000 people just around, because then you got everyone that go and tailgate, and that they don't even have tickets. So it's the biggest spectacle out there in the sporting event world. And it's phenomenal. It was my first time there for it. I'm telling you, it's amazing, Julian. Whenever you get a chance, you should go next year. And this year was the first time that Fox was airing the Indy 500. Wow. So I got to be a part of it because obviously I'm with Fox. So they put me up to some duties. I got to be the grand marshal of the snake pit. And I had absolutely no clue what I was getting into. They're like, hey, you want to go? You're going to be part of the snake pit. Then a week later, it's news all over the place that I'm the grand marshal of the snake pit. And everyone's hitting me up. They're like, bro, do you understand what you're getting into? It's kind of like, what's that festival and like the Woodstock? It's kind of like Woodstock, but it's in the middle of the lawn, in between, inside of the racetrack. Yeah. And there's going to be over 30,000 people there just going absolute bonkers. And that's what it was. It was so much fun. Fox put me in a situation for me to thrive and succeed. And I sure did, baby. I sure did. That's for sure.
That's good leadership by Fox. I mean, I saw the coverage. You were there. I saw Jeter was there. I saw A-Rod was there.
Yes.
Was Big Papi there?
Nah, Big Papi wasn't there.
Who else was there?
Yes.
Was Tom was there?
Yes, Tom was there.
Whoa.
So Fox assigned us all to different duties. And clearly, me being me, they signed me to the Grand Marshal of the Snake Pit, which made so much sense.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. And then you had Strahan there.
Stray.
I mean, the guy can break down any situation at any given time, whatever it is. So they probably had him doing everything, breaking down the race because he has knowledge of everything.
To race car race.
He can break down any situation.
He can go from pop singer to scandal to NASCAR to Indy to football to BTS. Like, this guy knows everything.
Interviewing Bill Belichick.
Interviewing Bill.
At his hottest moment last week.
I mean, no one other.
He can do it all.
That's our guy.
So, not sure what his real duties were because I was busy being the Grand Marshal of the Snake Pit. When you're doing that, Jules, you don't really know what else is going on. But Tom was there as well. I think he did a hot lap before the race. Not 100% sure what Jeter's duties were.
Yeah.
But I heard him get announced. Got a big round of applause. A-Rod was there as well. I'm sure they were on TV breaking down some of the races and all that, talking to some of the drivers while I was doing my duties at the Snake Pit once again. I can't stop talking about it.
Snake Pit's
I was raging with the DJs, getting the crowd hyped. I was in the microphone, 30,000 people, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Snake Pit. Everyone just erupted. It was a cool
So everyone was erupting. What did they do when Tom's name was in?
I heard they booed him.
They booed him.
They booed him, which is rude.
Which is rude, but it's honestly predictable.
Yeah, understandable.
Indianapolis 500. They couldn't beat him for freaking 30 years.
Well, actually, that was one of my points I made when I was, live in the Snake Pit. I said, I feel like I'm at home right now because I've owned the Colts my whole entire career when I was on the Patriots. And when you own a team for so long, you feel like you're at home when you're in the city. And I hit them with that. But then I evened it out because I was like, well, the New York Knicks beat my Boston Celtics, and the Pacers are playing the New York Knicks right now. So go Pacers. So it evened it out. So they like me again. I'm a genius.
That's crowd work. That's how to work a fucking crowd right there. And Robbie G knows how to work the crowd. No, but you remember we went to the Super Bowl and what was it? 11. We played in Indy. Didn't we have? We had like a family event at the Indianapolis 500, which was fun. That was like our only taste of the Indy 500. Awesome that you got to go.
Talking about myself, what I did over the weekend, I saw that you were at Patrick Mahomes' golf event.
Yeah.
Yes. What's the charity name? 15 for Mahomes?
Mahomies.
Mahomies, 15 for Mahomies?
Mahomies.
Yes, that's a really cool name.
That's a pretty cool name.
That is. It's clever. Mahomies. Yeah. I love, when I'm talking to some people sometimes and they're like, yo, I'm a big fan of, instead of saying Mahomes, they say Mahomies. I've heard that before, and I just started to laugh. I think it's really good. It's really clever, and he should amp up that nickname a little bit more. He should take it in. Mahomies is just great. It really is. So how was that golf event, Jules? Spill the beans. Who was there? Who did you golf with? I heard Dola was there as well. What was Dola doing there? I know he's a golfer as well. I know he belongs there, but I'm saying, what was he doing there? Was he having a good time? Spill all the beans, Jules. I want to know.
It was a standard event. Saw Kelsey, Trav was there. He made an appearance. Patrick was there, clearly. I saw Mr. Mahomes, dapped him up. I said, hey, man, I'm with you over here. I saw the fight against Kruk or whatever, that one dude, Rocker. And then
I wanted to see that fight go down.
I think he
Me
would.
too.
I think. Yeah, well, let's not get into that.
Yeah, let's not.
But also Dola, Dola was just Dolaing around. AQ Shipley was there. He's awesome.
Oh, Shipley. He's the man. I played with him for a year or two in Tampa.
We found
Great
out,
dude.
I never really met him, but I watch him on the McAfee show, and I love his segments where they always breaking down the offensive line play and shit. And it was cool to connect with him. He's who I talked to probably the most. We have the same birthday. Born in the same year, same birthday. So pretty crazy.
Well, happy birthday month to you, Jules, to myself, and AQ Shipley, baby.
AQ Shipley. Awesome dude. There was a bunch of dudes there. It was a standard golf event. A bunch of people with a lot of money pay to play golf, and it was a scramble. Shadow Creek in Vegas, spectacular course. Everyone keeps on always saying Augusto. I don't know. I heard that like a million times. Like, hey, doesn't this remind you kind of Augusta? I'm not that smart, but I heard it like 5 times. They were, what is it called? Comparing. That's a hard word. They were comparing to Augusta, but nothing like, it was fun and it was for a great cause. 15 in Mahomes. I think he helps a bunch of kids that, mentoring in sports, need sports equipment. Very awesome thing. And I know they raised a bunch of money. Always great to see that. Let's shift over to.
Who did you golf with first? Who was in your foursome?
I golfed with these oil traders,
Big money.
Mahomes. Money.
The oil guys.
All them Texas guys. Mm-hmm. They were talking about that oil. I had no clue. I said, hey, I'm a California tech guy. They said, yeah, buddy. You got to get in that liquid gold. Mm-hmm. I said, what's the liquid gold? They said, that oil.
I think oil is more than liquid gold.
It's probably liquid platinum.
Yeah, there we go. Now we talking. Platinum. Now we talking.
But yeah, they were cool dudes. One of them was from New Hampshire. They were all lived in Texas, and they were all oil traders. It was a cool event. Great food.
Well, talking about the golfing and the oil guys and being from Texas. One of my favorite shows right now is Landman with Billy Bob Thornton.
Funny.
Was he there? Did you get to golf with him
Billy Bob
by
Thornton.
any chance? Dang it.
And if
love
he was
Billy
there,
Bob Thornton. Love his wife as well. Well, his ex-wife and Landman as well.
That's the same chick from Varsity Blues.
Yeah, the one that put the whipped cream all over
That's
her
like
body
our high school.
as a bikini.
Yeah, that was gnarly.
Who doesn't know that?
Well, if Billy Bob was there, I would have been infatuated to see what he would have been wearing because I've seen this guy doing the press tours. You see, he looks like Jack Sparrow from Pirates of the Caribbean. I've seen him with some hats and scarves and shit, and he plays like these podunk dudes, but then he comes out when he does all this media and he's like super creative and like fucking piratey and shit. Like, let's see. Look at this. Billy Bob
Thornton was there. I would have flown right in, Jules.
He's fucking Jack Sparrow. He got a beanie on with a hat and all this shit, dude. But you got to be a cool dude to be dressing like that. And he's a cool motherfucker.
And to be able to just change character like that at all times, like the character that he has in Landman does not represent him at all, the way that he is dressed there. That's when you know you are a legit actor as well. When you're the best of the best out there is when you can just be one guy one day, then just another guy another day.
Before we get into our guys, we also should, give a shout out to Jim Irsay. Mm-hmm. He was I think he was one of the longest standing owners for the league. Took it over from his dad when his dad passed. There's a lot of beef between our organizations, but we respect the hell out of.
Yes, we do.
The Colts and Mr. Irsay. He did a lot for this league. I remember him always being heavily involved in the lockout stuff. And whenever you hear a Colt player talk about Jim Irsay, with whatever craziness you think,
all love.
It's all love. Mm-hmm. I mean, McAfee went like an hour, 2 hours of his show just telling stories. Mm-hmm. That's how big of an impact he had on McAfee. I mean, he just seemed like a guy that people loved. The guitar collection, he had a bunch of talents, weightlifter. So shout out to Jim Irsay. Mm-hmm. We lost one, and he was a big key pivotal guy for our league and to where it's going. So
yes, rest in peace, Jim. Thank you for everything that you have done for the NFL.
Thank you. Should we get into some dudes?
Yes, we shall.
All right. Well, let's give us the AI summary.
All right. Let's go.
Our first dude.
Standing 6 foot 1 inch tall, weighing 248 pounds. This bruising fullback was selected 35th overall in the second round of the 1996 NFL draft. He grew up in Joliet, Illinois, and starred at Purdue University. In the NFL, he was known for his punishing running style and versatility. He earned 6 Pro Bowl selections, a Super Bowl ring, and remains the all-time touchdown leader in Tampa Bay Buccaneers history. Let's get on Mike Alstott.
Oh, my God.
And, Jules, what's the first thing that you think of when you hear the name Mike Alstott? For me, though, real quick before you, I believe that he was bigger than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers organization. He was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers organization at that time, that era when I was growing up and watching him. And that's what, the first thing that comes to my memory is that He's a Tampa Bay Buccaneer.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
First
How about
thing,
you?
For me, neck roll.
Mm-hmm.
First thing that
There
comes
we
to
go.
my mind.
I like that.
And then freaking Boomer just going. Remember on all his highlights, he'd go. Like this guy, I mean, just a bruiser. And I just remember, like, he started out as a fullback, and then he was getting tailback touches, and he was producing crazy amounts of yards. If you like the most north and south guy you could ever think of. And if you were a white guy that was a lineman, you know what I mean? White linemen that were like in high school, I just always remember that they loved Mike Alstott because he was like the epiphany that maybe this is what it would look like if I got the ball. And you know what I mean? He gave so much hope to every freaking little white lineman that was like 6 foot, 240 in high school that played fucking guard, center, or anything. Like, you know what? If I hit a growth spurt, I could potentially be Mike Alstott.
That's the truth. Was he like a superstar in college? I know only about him when he was on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but did he actually like get handoffs in college or in as well, or did that start once he got into the
second
NFL?
round.
I know, because he was that beastly of a fullback. Like, what was his style in college as well? Like, what was his stats? All right, so he played 100. Nope, that's his NFL stats. What was his college stats that got him drafted in the second round? Because being that beastly at the fullback position,
have to.
he at least had to show some skill set that he could still run the ball as well, you know, at that fullback position.
I mean, he had 3 seasons over 1,200 yards. This guy's a fucking monster.
So that's why. Absolute savage in college as well. I never knew his college
14
stats.
touchdowns back-to-back
Over
years.
1,000 yards
3 years.
His junior year and senior year,
And
800 yards his sophomore year, and as a freshman, he had like 200 yards. So that's what got him drafted in the second round as well, because he was showing the ability that he could run the ball as well.
His rookie year, he had 65 catches. I mean, he was a great out of the backfield. He was a great out of the Tom Rathman-esque.
Just overall, just a great
Shout out Tom Rathman.
back, including being a full and a running back.
He's a back.
Yeah, he's just a back. He could play in any era. Any era.
He could play in any era. He could play right now. He'd be great right now.
He would be. It would bring back that old school mentality. Imagine him on the Baltimore Ravens right now with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. And then he's the fullback, and then he also has the option
have a
to
good-ass
hand it
fullback.
off to him too. Yeah, they do.
What's his name? Fullback Ravens. Big boy. He's the old defensive lineman. He's like 290 pounds. Ricard.
Yeah.
Ricard's a fucking monster too.
He is.
But
He can't run like Alstott.
He gets a couple here and there, the little waggles.
Do you look at him? I'm going to get right into it. Do you look at him as the best fullback of all time?
I think he's probably the best hybrid fullback of all time, because you look at Neil, that guy, I mean, he was the fullback for like 4 rushing champs. You know what I mean?
So Mike Alstott's the best fullback of all time as the complete
best running
package,
fullback.
The complete package.
I think he's the best
fullback.
running fullback of all time.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to downplay his blocking, because Warwick Dunn had some fucking yards with him as well. But I'm just saying, like, Riggins was insane. There's a bunch of guys that the fullback position, what he did is he revolutionized the fullback position. It used to be the fullback usually used to just get a concussion every day because he had to hit a linebacker 10 times in a row, full speed, or the D tackle on a wham, or you know what I mean? He's just getting concussions. He, as in Mike Alstott, literally revolutionized it. We're like, hey, maybe we should give this big ass dude the ball on a short yardage play. Started doing that, and then all of a sudden he starts running for fucking 55 yards, jumping over dudes, blowing people up. You know what I mean? So it's hard to say he's the best of all time, because the guys before it, I don't think they got the opportunity like him, which he earned that opportunity because he showed it in practice. He showed that he had the speed and everything to be able to do it. But he's definitely up there. He's the best running fullback of all time, I believe.
What I love about Mike Alstott is that he just represents a football player as well.
Let me see.
This guy was a football player. Like, if you had to describe a football player, what a football player does, that's Mike Alstott. Just the way he had no fear. And I don't envy these fullbacks. I'm telling you that right now. I love blocking Jules, but I love blocking a guy that's, his hands down right in front of me, right on the line of scrimmage. I'm talking, these guys are tapped, brother. I got 2 brothers that are fullbacks.
No, I know.
One played 3 years. The other one played about 2 years in the NFL. And the way that they just line up in the backfield, run 5 yards at a linebacker that has a full head of steam running 5 yards as well, and just has that big, huge collision. It's like a car crash on a daily basis. I don't envy that. They're tapped to another level. They're special. It's wild, that gene that they have, that they want to do that. Like James Devlin, absolute savage as well.
I just tried to call James. He's probably...
We need him. Pick up, James. We're trying to call you.
I was trying to call him because...
He's a neck roll guy, too.
Neck roll. That's what you think of when you think of fullback, neck roll. Daryl Johnson, don't forget him. So what people don't realize, the fullback throughout the week, Wednesday, Thursday, which are the 2 hitting days, we have these 9-on-7 practice drills where it's like it's just run game, inside run game. And I remember watching this, and every freaking play, it's just Dante Hightower going full speed at James Devlin, head-to-head combat every single play. These dudes are fucking calcified. Their heads are that's what they do. They hit. They fucking...
They're bricks.
I wonder how he was in the weight room. Because I bet you he was just a fucking... Like, every fullback, they have dedicated weight room time. Well, like, whenever the fullback is in the weight room, it's like his weight room. There's like a box of smelling salts. His knees are wrapped. The elbows are wrapped. And I'm just talking off of like James Devlin and the guys that I play with, but I can only imagine it's the same way everywhere. There's usually like a bottle of NO Explode right next to them so they could take a shot every time they're about to hit the squats. Like, that's what the fullback energy is.
I mean, the guy trained by pushing a car 100 yards. That's fullback energy as well, right there.
What kind of car, though?
A Jeep.
Oh, there he is. I remember that. I fucking remember that picture.
A Jeep ain't easy to push, man. A Jeep is an off-roading machine.
No.
Like, that thing, is technically a decent-sized car. So that's kind of describes Mike Alstott as well. He's like the off-road Jeep, that could also, have some talent to maneuver on the highway and juke some dudes. And Alstott was the guy, like, had the neck roll. He's a guy that looked like he could never juke a defender ever. Like, he's just going to run over an opponent, which he did on a daily basis. But then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this guy had footwork that looked like a running back, and he would juke a safety, a defensive back, or a linebacker in the open field and go for an extra 15. It's like, oh, where did that footwork come from? Like, unbelievable that he had that in him, and that's what made him so great as a ball carrier as well. And then also what made him great, too, I feel like, he had those jukes, but when he was running over guys and blocking guys, this guy kept his feet moving. And they always emphasize that. Great coaches, offensive line coaches, tight end coaches, when you're in the blocking game or when you're running at someone or when someone's trying to tackle you, keep your feet moving, keep the high knees going. And Mike Alstott was the perfect example of that. If you watch his highlight film, boom, his feet were always rolling. He never stopped them. And that's what makes you great. That momentum never stops and you just keep trucking over mofos. And that's what he did.
You know what?
And hold on, let me finish on Mike Alstott real quick. The greatest thing about him, if you want to get the chills, if you want to see what a true football player is, you want to get amped up, you watch one of the greatest highlight films of all time, and that's Mike Alstott.
It is. It'll get the hair on the back. It'll get the hair on the back lifted. Now, I just had a thought in my head. If Mike Alstott was a car, you know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of the new Escalade with the Z06 engine in it. Where that thing, have you heard those fucking cars? It's the Corvette engine in the Escalade. So it's got giddy up, but it's a big fucking piece of mass. And that's what he was. He was the Escalade, the new Escalade with fucking...
It's a big piece of mass.
It's a big car, but look at the horses under it. Look at the engine. I think it's got a 6.3 supercharged Corvette engine. These things are fucking fast. My buddy got one. I don't even have a fucking Escalade or anything. This isn't an ad or anything. This is just literally what I thought. Supercharged fucking 6.3. That's Mike Alstott. Supercharged Escalade.
Maybe a little bit too fancy.
No,
like you got to switch it up. Maybe add some tires to it or something.
It's still American.
Yeah. How about put some like key the Escalade a little bit. Put some bruises on it, some scars.
Well, you just change the tires. Right. You're not gonna have rims on it.
Well, once it gets dirty, never wash it either.
Yeah.
Then that would represent
I'm talking about
a little bit more to the exact T. But okay, performance wise, makes sense.
I remember that game. Go back. The 2 touchdowns in the divisional round versus the Niners in 2002. 17 carries, 87 yards, 2 touchdowns. Bucks stomped the Niners 31-6 en route to the NFC Championship. Was that with Jeff Garcia? He'd have like only 87 yards, but you didn't see the 3rd and 4 or the 3rd and 2 where he like just blew up 4 dudes. And he'd have such great situational runs. Like he is the perfect 4-minute back. 4-minute being like the last 4 minutes. It's a situation that we all play out in our head when you play football. The last 4 minutes of the game, if you have a lead, how do you sustain the time and take the time off the clock? You have to have long sustaining drives, but you also have to keep the clock running. A guy like him would be a 4-minute fucking running back's wet dream.
And another trait that he had, which never's really been talked about, because as a fullback, you usually don't have patience. You're ready just to rip someone's head off, and you're just ready to run with a full head of steam and just go take somebody out. And there's no patience. This guy had patience. As a fullback, and that's rare because, like I just said, you're trying to run just full speed to just level someone. But with the ball in his hands, he let the play develop. He was patient, with the way that he ran.
North and south.
Patience.
Good jump cut.
Yes, great jump cut. He was more north than south, but he just had that feeling for the game of football at the fullback position as well.
You know what? And people don't realize that he was great out of the backfield catching the ball. I remember watching him catch the ball a bunch too on those little wide routes. Him and Warwick Dunn on those double wide routes. Him and Warwick Dunn together were a great little combo. Warwick Dunn was one of my favorite little running backs too. And they Rondé Barber on the other side, Derrick Brooks. This was a fucking legendary team. John Lynch, shout out, fucking break your neck over the middle. Like these teams.
I'm glad Lynch didn't play when I was playing.
Dude.
Yeah.
So my rookie year.
I would have been knocked out like 4 more times up that seam. And Tom wouldn't have cared. He would have still thrown me the ball. Like, oh, that's John Lynch. I'll let Rob get, leveled.
John Lynch he used to murder people.
Murder.
I remember I did a thing with, what's the sporting goods store out here? Modell's. I did a thing with Modell's. And on the clearance rack, it was like my rookie year. There was a bunch of John Lynch Patriots jerseys because he was on the team for like a camp. And so they probably ordered a bunch of jerseys. I saw some come pick it up.
And another thing that Alstott, had in his tools is that, which is actually the most important thing, I feel like, is leverage. He knew that the game of football was dependent on leverage. He was the perfect size to get that leverage so he can blow up whatever defender he needed to or break a tackle. And like to get low like that and underneath someone else's pads, he was the master at it. And that's kind of what made him.
So like when you were in Tampa for that couple years, was there like a Alstott aura in there? Did you know he was part of the organization?
I mean, whenever he came around, you had that.
He came around a lot.
I'm not a lot, you know, Mike Alstott. I know he's big in the community.
Yeah.
But he came around every once in a while, but whenever he came around and I got to meet him, I was kind of in awe because, like I said, Alstott, one of the baddest ass football players to ever live. You got to show respect to the ones that were before you as well. And he kind of is similar with the style I play, but I would say that he's even a notch above me, and he did it at a higher level than me of that aggressiveness in playing the game of football, especially at the fullback position, which takes a lot more to do. But you feel that presence when he's around, and you appreciate it, and you respect it to the highest level.
Now, who's a Mount Rushmore of power runners? Let's give us let's see what the power runners are. Because I think he would be in there. Riggins would be in there. Who else? Kazanka?
Larry Zonka. Power runner. Oh, what about the guy on the Giants back in the day when we were kids? Oh, Loved watching him.
Brandon Jacobs?
Yeah, Brandon Jacobs, man.
Or what about Peyton Hillis for that 1 year?
Oh, Peyton Hillis. Yeah, he's definitely up there. He was on the cover of Madden for a year.
I mean, Jim Brown was a fucking power runner. If you watch him, like, he was the biggest, fastest man on the goddamn field. Like, no one could. I remember him punishing people. Like, Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry, definitely. Steve Ridley had it in him, too.
Rid.
I loved when Rid was at full strength. That's what was it, his second year? He went over 4,000 yards, but Rid ran over a couple fools as well. Remember the game in London?
Yeah.
Versus, at the time, the St. Louis Rams just put his freaking shoulder down and just plastered the guy. Plastered him.
Earl Campbell. He was a physical runner. You remember those forearm shots he would give, guys trying to take him down? I would go Mount Rushmore of power runners. Ooh, this is gonna be going hot in the comment section probably.
But you're putting running backs in there as well. Mike Alstott was a fullback, but we're just gonna combine them all because
Riggins wasn't,
just such a powerhouse of a runner.
You got to go. All right, I'll start 1. I'm gonna go John Riggins. 2, you. There's only 4 spots. You got 2.
I'm definitely going to put Mike Alstott up there.
That you could take Alstott.
Yeah.
3, I'm going Earl Campbell. I fucking loved Earl Campbell as an Oiler. I didn't love him. I just remember watching his highlights as a kid, and he was blown full of it.
I'm going to go with, for the 1 year, just overall. Oh, actually, no, my mind just changed.
Last one.
I was going to give it to Peyton Hillis just for the 1 year, 2 years that he had in Cleveland because it was absolutely absurd what he was doing. He was
Madden
running
cover.
He was on the Madden cover. That's how good of a year that he had, and he was running over our
Jerome
defense.
Bettis, Marshawn Lynch.
I'm going with Jerome Bettis.
The bus?
The bus. How can I not go with the bus? Like, that's all the guy did was run with power.
Marshawn Lynch was fucking powerful as fuck, too. Especially late Marshawn when he got a little bigger.
So many good ones. It's hard to have a Mount Rushmore of power runners, Jules. Who created this? Like, this is stupid because they're all great.
What a rookie card on a what is that, a Harley?
That's when you know you're badass. You're on the motorcycle looking like a stud, feeling out your chin, just already eyeing down all the cheerleaders, just, during your photo shoot. Guy, absolute stud.
Those look like some 22-inch arms too, dog. Those hey, look at his forearms. I bet you he could hit a baseball.
Looks like an actor there.
He does. He looks like a beefy fucking
looks like he belongs in Top Gun.
You know what?
Like he's a pilot.
Dude, he may be too big to be a pilot.
Definitely.
Those little cockpits. Man.
Love that he had frosted tips for a little while.
Did he?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that was fucking the late 90s, early 2000s. Everyone did. I mean, Enrique Iglesias brought that shit out. Remember that? We all had this.
Yeah.
The little spice tips.
Actually, I never messed with my hair ever before. I wish I had spice tips.
I went to private school, so we'd put spray the shit in your hair and get in trouble.
All
right, what kind of dude is Mike Alstott?
I mean, he's everything.
He's got dog tendencies. He's definitely did he have dudes kind of vibes?
I mean, when you're blocking your face off like that for your teammates,
you're always a dude.
You're always a dude, no matter what. No matter what.
Wiz. He's kind of Wiz. He innovated a fullback to be a tailback. There would be no Peyton Hillis if there was no fucking Mike Alstott.
Freak of nature.
He's definitely, I mean, he's
absolute dog.
2'6". He's also a stud though. You see that?
Yes. That rookie photo?
That's exactly what I thought. I said, what kind of fucking guy has a rookie photo on a Harley with his goddamn forearms that are 18 inches? His biceps are 22. That's studly.
It really is.
On 3, 1, 2, 3, stud.
He really is.
I mean, he's
well-rounded.
He's well-rounded. He was also the face of a team. There's no, dogs aren't usually face. You can be a face of a team.
Of a team that didn't even get much attention.
But then went out and won a Super Bowl with
them.
You know what I mean? And he was a huge part of it. Can't forget Warren Sapp and the Derrick Brooks and that great defense, Rondé Barber, Kiffin, fucking calling.
Yeah.
Like they had those were some great teams, but everyone knew Mike Alstott. Yeah. We were on the West Coast and that was like Tampa Bay Bucks, Mike Alstott.
Yes. All right, Jules. You know what really gets me heated in the summer? When you're at the airport delayed 3 hours and someone decides to eat tuna next to you.
Oh.
That's when I got to choose chill.
100% for me. Outdoor weddings in July, tucks on, sweating like I just ran a post route in Miami.
Exactly. Summer's supposed to be about good times, tailgates, rooftop hangs, boat days with the crew, not sweating the small stuff.
We've got ball games lined up, summer concerts, backyard football, whatever it is, you better believe we're showing up with a cooler full of Coors Light.
So whatever chaos summer throws your way, make the most out of the times you choose to chill. Choose Coors Light.
Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door. Visit CoorsLight.com/dudes.
Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado beer.
All right. Let's get in our next guy.
Let's do it. Got the AI summary right here in my hands. Standing 6 feet 4 inches tall and weighing around 250 pounds during his playing days. He grew up in Daly City, California, and played college football at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. As an offensive tackle, he was drafted in the 21st round of the 1958 NFL draft by the Philadelphia Eagles. My mind was just blown because I just learned something, Julian. There was that many rounds in the NFL draft back then.
They used to have a lot
of
rounds.
The 21st round.
Yeah.
How many rounds were there total? 30 rounds total?
Yeah.
That's absurd. That's
crazy.
absurd. I'm glad they knocked it down a little bit. That'd be way too much if there was 30 rounds. It wouldn't even make sense.
You'd better have large rosters.
Oh, but was there less teams? Was there only like 10 teams? Is that why there was 30 rounds? They're just throwing out. It's like kind of getting drafted to go to the military, and if someone showed up, they showed up. Then great.
Kinda.
But if they didn't show up, well, he didn't show up. That's why we drafted 50 players to our team this year. If you get drafted in the
military, you got to go.
That's when we know they just didn't have it. You're going to draft 50 guys back then, and the ones that don't show, we already know they don't have it.
More like baseball, not military, but yeah, we'll take that.
And he went on to become one of the most successful head coaches in NFL history, winning over 100 games and securing a Super Bowl title in 1977. After his playing and coaching days were over, his football intellect and natural charisma helped him become a legendary broadcaster, pitchman, video game pioneer, and cultural icon. Let's get on John Madden.
John Madden.
And Jules, what's the first thing that you think of when you hear the name John Madden?
The turducken.
Oh, turducken.
I mean, who doesn't think of the turducken? This guy used to cut the damn turducken with his fingers, those big ass offensive line sausages that he had. He cut the turducken on Thanksgiving, and he would reward the MVP of Thanksgiving Day with the turducken turkey leg, chicken, whatever the thing is. Whatever leg it is, he would give it to him. We all know about it because of John Madden. Thanksgiving, John Madden. Football, when you watch it, John Madden. If you're a kid that's in his 30s or lower, or 40s, maybe even early 50s, taught you the game of football through his video game. John Madden is one of the most important names for the NFL. One of the most important names for the National Football League. I mean, you got kids out in Tokyo and Africa and India playing American football because of John Madden. Video game. I don't know if that's actually true. I know it's the highest grossing American video game of all time. But, you know.
It sounded good.
That's
all that matters.
That's all. But, you know, Daly City, I love John Madden because he's a fellow College of San Mateo alum, go Bulldogs. Went to CSM, the same JUCO that I went to. He was born and raised in Daly City. So he had a huge Bay Area influence. And then he also coached the Raiders. Legendary. Got them their first, was it their first Super Bowl? Got them their first Super Bowl with Al Davis, with that cornerstone organization and the history of that organization to be the guy that brings them their first. I mean, he's an absolute legend. His name is synonymous with football.
Here's a question for you, being a California guy. How did being a NorCal guy shape his approach to the game? That's a question I just threw at you.
Well,
I mean, it's not even just John Madden. How is just being a NorCal guy overall? I mean, John Madden set the standard, but like, how did that change the approach, or how did he see it, approaching the game, just being from California?
Well, if you look at him and how he was on TV, very approachable, very like there's always the stories of how John Madden took the bus everywhere and was always big in the community that he was visiting, go up to people. He was like the most famous guy in football, and he would go hang out at like the local restaurant. And I think maybe, and that's what the NorCal-ness he has, is being able to be a very intellectual dude, but be able to break it down to simple for everyone to understand. Kind of techie. I mean, he's C++ and shit.
There we go. That's the answer that we're looking for. All the techies are from California.
He's coding shit for you to understand.
He's
basically coding football for the regular viewer to understand. I mean, Daly City, the freaking cloudiest place in the world, but awesome. Right by the SFO. Literally, that's
like why they're geniuses. They don't go outside at all. It's cloudy. When it's cloudy, what's the point of going outside? There's no sun. You just stay inside and you become a tech master.
And that's kind of what he was. Well, in the Bay Area, that you have this mountain range that is along the whole coast, and it funnels all that fog right from both north and south right into like Daly City. And so Daly City, always freaking foggy. Shout out Ceremony. That's over there. Ceremony was this mall where everyone would go get their Air Force Ones. It was in Daly City. Shout out. Is he the greatest broadcaster of all time?
Greatest broadcaster of all time. He was definitely one of the best broadcasters of all time. There's so many good broadcasters now, no doubt about it. I would say in that era and being that consistent for that long of a time, yes, you got to give it to him, I would say, right? Who'd be up there in that competition? There's a lot of great ones.
I mean, I don't know. John Madden's the guy.
But he is just the guy, and that's why he got the video game cover. Doink!
Whap!
Hey.
Whoop. Whap!
I like WAP. I want to say WAP. WAP.
He used to go boom.
Just the way that he broke down plays too. He, like you said,
he invented the telestrator.
That's why he is who he is, because you said it. He made the game simple. And the game of football is not simple. There's a lot going on, especially if you're the quarterback. You got to know 15 things going on in a matter of a split 2 seconds. You got to know where the safeties are, who's blitzing off, what the defensive lineman's doing, what your wide receivers are doing, what are the calls at the offensive line position. And then when John Madden broke it down on that little, chalkboard or whatever he was doing. Yeah, he's the one who started that type of shit too, to break it down with the fans. He made it simple for fans to understand the game of football, for people that don't play the game of football, because it's hard to understand the game of football if you don't play it. And if you can break it down easy, it gets the fans more involved. And that's also what made him so iconic, is he got so many fans involved in understanding the game of football because he broke it down so easily. And that's kind of how I am too. I appreciate when it's simple, Jules. When McDaniels was calling 50 calls at the line of scrimmage, you got to do that. When the blitzers, I'm like, no, that's a lot for me. You got to think. I like when it's simple. And McDaniels found that out too, as my offensive coordinator. He's like, I'm just going to keep it simple for Gronk, and that's when you thrive the most. So I appreciate John Madden for keeping it simple. You understand it, and you can just go out there and do what you got to do.
They call that KISS. Keep it simple, silly. My dad used to say stupid, though.
You ever meet John Madden?
I didn't get to meet John Madden.
I never have either, but it feels like
I know him.
If we ever did meet him, it's like
you feel like
he'd be your good friend.
You know what he also did? Like, he brought in the telestrator. He brought in Madden. I remember hearing stories that they originally wanted to make it 8 versus 8 because they didn't have the technology to do 11 versus 11. And he was like, hard no. If we're going to teach football, we're going to teach it correctly. He taught football to the viewer. The telestrator, what that did and what that showed was that gave an inside look of how a coach coaches a player. The great telestrator coaches that we had. I had Scotty O'Brien, where these guys would sit up there for 20 minutes and they'd be doing John Madden shit. All right, you guys, he'd draw like a butt here, a butt here. You got to get up there and go. And these guys get on these telestrators and they think they're fucking Picasso or something. And it's,
but it brought the best out of them.
It brought
the
best,
really
and it was a form of entertainment.
And it was, and it broke it down simpler as well.
And made it simple. And he was the first. John Madden was the first to show people that's how we broke down film. That's how, like, probably in those days they had overhead projectors where they would show, all right, guys, this is what we're doing. And like that little thing right there is so huge. And now you look at like how they show games now. Every network is always trying to look for that new thing that's like the telestrator with all the different camera angles, the fucking camera that goes in behind and everything. Like all that stuff, he's a pioneer at a lot of that shit. You know what I mean? The Madden game, I mean,
John Madden's so legendary. They already have a movie coming out about John Madden. You got Nicolas Cage playing Madden, and I've seen some pictures of him. He kind of looks exactly like Madden.
Dude.
I don't know how they do that. Nicolas Cage is a skinnier guy, and like, what do they do? Fill him up with pillows?
Yeah.
When I used to fill myself up with pillows, I'd be in one corner, my brother would be in the other corner, and we call it zooms, and you just get as big as you possibly can, stuff as many pillows as you can, and then you would run full speed at each other and just crash right into each other, kind of like Mike Alstott versus any linebacker, and you would meet at the line of scrimmage, and then we would just go flying backwards, but our protection was the pillows. So that's what I guess Nicolas Cage is doing right now.
Let me explain something to some people out there. For all you people that think like, oh, I got a baby Gronk in my house. Look at this kid's. His form of entertainment was running full speed into a wall with pillows, okay?
into another person, not a wall.
Built different.
Into another wall, into another person.
Coach this shit. He literally, the form of entertainment was playing hockey downstairs and fucking running into each other with pillows.
Full contact.
Rules. Look at that. Looks like Madden.
That's Nicolas Cage.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
They got his titties and everything.
I'm gonna be watching the movie.
You remember Madden used to have he used to have man boobs. We all love Madden's man boobs.
Would you have rather played for John Madden as, with him being the head coach, or would you rather have been his broadcast partner?
I'd rather played for him. I heard he was an awesome players coach.
Yeah.
Well, I took a picture recently in a bathroom. I forgot where I was, and it was a quote of John Madden. He goes, guys, what was it? I think it was like, you can't break, if you don't make a lot of rules, guys can't break them. It was something like along that line. Didn't I send it to you guys? The fewer rules a coach has, the fewer rules there are for players to break.
Keeps it simple. Because then the rules that he has probably get fouled so well because there's not so many rules. And I think he did only have 3 rules. What were they? They were simple. Be on time. Pay attention. This is like kindergarten. I love it.
Yeah.
I could have thrived. I could have gotten an A, playing for John Madden back in the day. And play hard when I tell you. I like that.
So what if he doesn't tell you to play hard, you don't have to play hard?
You're probably just playing your game. But then, like, when he really needs that team to step up, his team to step up to another level, brings them in the huddle. Hey, motherfuckers, I need you guys to play hard right now and whoop the motherfucking asses. And then they go out there and play hard.
I bet you he probably had some great, like, pregame speeches.
The guy knows how to talk. Savvy. Clever.
And it was, like, always, like, entertaining talk. Like the booms and... he would come up with names and he would he analogized the regular man shit to like.
I really look up to people like John Madden that just have that wittiness to them. There's a lot of people like that. Greg Olsen has it. Strahan has it. Terry Bradshaw has it. Like, you put them in any situation and they can just be witty with whatever's going on and figure out a way to explain what's going on or a way to ask a question of what's being evaluated right there. John Madden had that. The words he would come up with, the way he would explain things. You got to be born with that trait. You can develop it a little bit. I got it in a way, but they have it to a whole nother level. Yeah. And it's like, I envy it. I love it. I love what they just do. And John Madden had that. And that's what made him so great as well. And that's what made him such a great speaker and a guy to explain the game and broadcaster and coach, because you can relate to people when you can, speak like that. And I love people like that.
And it's crazy. He's the only broadcaster to go on the 4 big networks: NBC, CBS, ABC, and then go into Fox. He did all 4. He did the big 4. That's when you know you're good. Hearing old stories from Shanks, one of our bosses at Fox, he used to say that John basically gave the template of how we're going to call the game. Like, and it was basically like a play sheet of like how you would prepare for a game, like the information groups, like building a scouting system. He taught the people on like what information he wanted to see, like what the coaches request for all the film guys for when they're breaking down an opponent. I heard like he was a huge part of all that. I could be completely wrong and may have just thought that through my brain, but I remember Shanks talking about a lot about Madden.
No, definitely.
He was one of the first guys that brought in the interviewing with the players the night before. Whenever you hear like, oh, well, we're talking to this guy, you know, like that was John Madden.
And that's a true inside perspective into the game, is when you get inside the heads of the player. And John Madden started that, like you said, and that helps you out in the booth as well. And it gives, you know, a better perspective to the fans. And
EA Sports, it's in the game.
All right, before we get on, though, and figure out what type of guy he is, Jules, I got a question. What was your best Madden rating?
I don't know.
Yeah, you do know.
I really don't.
Come on. You don't know?
I was in the 90s.
I'll tell you mine.
You were a 99 clubber.
Yeah, I was a 99 clubber, baby. That's why I asked you that, so I can boost my ego up a little bit. 99 clubber. A couple times as well.
What was I?
I don't think I really deserved it, like one of the years, but I was a 99er a few times.
My best. What was my best? 95?
95. That's not bad. 95 is really good overall. It must have been your speed that knocked you down.
Yeah.
Your quickness is definitely a 99.
Should be elite.
What's your speed? What was your 40, by the way?
4.48.
Oh, that's not bad, actually.
4.51.
Yeah. But your quickness is just through the roof. Through the roof, Jules.
95 overall. That's not bad. You were on the cover?
Mm-hmm.
What year? 12?
I think
11?
it was...
You were on the cover of Madden? I forget this.
Yes, Jules, I was.
You've been on so much cool shit, I forget half of it.
Yes, thanks, man. I appreciate it. It was really cool, man. I think it was 2017.
You didn't get hurt after the curse was gone.
It was gone. I forgot the guy before me broke it. Who was on it the year before me?
Oh, I do remember that.
But yeah, I was Gronk spiking on the cover. I mean, it was special, dude. It was really special to be on the cover of Madden. So I just want to give a big shout out to John Madden for creating Madden and giving me the opportunity to be on the cover. And it was special, dude. It really was just to, you know,
it's an honor.
Be in that category, you know, to be recognized like that. You know, that was one of the coolest things that happened to me while I was playing, you know, in the NFL. It really was.
Hell yeah. I mean, that's a huge honor. And I didn't know my score, but like I remember back when we were playing, we all looked at our score. I knew I was on a high 90 of some sort at my best. But like that was a huge thing in the locker room. I mean, you got guys that like, what the fuck, man?
That's all they care about now.
That's all they care about is their goddamn Madden rating.
I mean, what was it? The New York Giants? They were, or was it the Jets? They were cutting guys based on their Madden score.
I mean, that's what they said.
Yeah.
I mean, the grandson was running it.
Yeah. I mean, that just shows how
influential.
Influential and how legit Madden is.
Let's get into what kind of dude is John Madden.
I think this one's easy.
Easy. I mean, he's definitely a stud. Drafted in the 20th round. Maybe a freak. We all seen the man boobs. That's out of love. Definitely had some dog in him because I've seen him mother F some people. You see him mother F in the old footages. He used to yell. And he used to have all those great commercials. He used to have a lot of great commercials. He's definitely a dude's dude. But I think it's easy what he is.
It is.
On 3, 1, 2, 3. Whiz. Why do you think he's a whiz?
He's a whiz. I mean, like you said, he broadcasted for all, you know, 4 of the major stations. He was a head coach. He was a player. And just the way he broke down games, you got to be a smart and intellectual guy in order to do that. And I would say that's his number one aspect of who he was just his knowledge. And when you got that knowledge, you're a whiz.
He literally got inside the game, as EA would say, because of John Madden. All right, let's get into the chillest dude of the week, brought to you by our favorite beer, Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door. Visit CoorsLight.com/dudes and celebrate responsibly.
This is my favorite time. Every time on the podcast is when I get the crack of Coors Light. Cold as the Rockies, because every time I sip, I feel more relaxed. I feel more chilled. So cheers,
Celebrate
Jules.
responsibly. Look at them, nice and blue. Blues Clues, Blues Clues.
And for this week's Chillest Dude of the Week, we're reacting to some of your hottest sports takes. Let's get into it. Let's go.
Jules, Gronk, Sam from Northeast Ohio here. My hottest sports take is this. The Kent State Golden Flashes football program is 1,000,000 times better than the Arizona Timid Kittens football program, past, present, and future. Hey, Gronk, the Wildcats? More like the Mild Cats.
You know what? I can't argue that. I think that's a good take.
Who the fuck is this guy?
I think that's a great take.
I know you're not going to argue that. And I know you think that's freaking going to be
Ohio,
a good take. I think that's one of the worst takes of all time.
Well, you guys are having so much fun
Kent
in
State
Arizona.
Golden Flashes can't even beat the Buffalo Bulls, where I grew up, right down the street.
I think I was over 3.
When I got to Arizona, my friend Pete Bittner was offensive lineman, and he won the MAC. Kent State was nowhere to be found, and that was in like 08. They had James Stark as the running back. The only reason why I knew about Kent State was, well, once I got to meet you, you put Kent State on the map, and because that was just a team the Buffalo Bulls ran over. I gotta give you credit. This guy fucking hot takes, pretty funny. You know, a comedian, thinks he's funny. Peanut Gallery, Arizona Timid Kittens. I mean, if you're talking about the sorority girls, then yes, he's right. He must have visited there and saw what it was all about and got caught up in that and forgot that we have an all right football program. He's kind of right in that. Our football program, very mild.
I think this is what he's trying to explain.
Let's hear it. What about our basketball program, though?
What about ours? We've been to Elite 8.
I mean, we were in the Sweet 16 the last 4 years.
We went to Elite 8 in 2001. Maybe 3 with Antonio Gates, but this is what he's trying to get to, Rob. This is what he's trying to get to.
Okay, I know what you're going to say.
Kent State.
Oh, in the MAC.
Have you been to Kent State?
Never have.
All right, Northeast
I've been to Miami, Ohio.
Great
school.
Great school.
Love it. Brick
That's
Street.
not Kent
Shout
State.
out to Brick Street. Drank plenty of these Coors Lights there, and I have my jersey hanging up next to Ben Roethlisberger.
Miami, Ohio is in South Ohio. We're Northeast Ohio, so you're right by a big-ass lake called Lake Erie, okay?
Well, we just talked about Lake Erie, too.
We just talked about Daly City being damn cloudy. Kent is probably cloudier, okay? If Kent was in the beautiful desert with a lot of kittens running around like you talked about, I think that our team would be better. So that's what he's trying to say. With all your facilities, the beauty of your campuses, the great weather that you have, he's basically saying you guys have a dog shit program because of that. If you guys were to ever come and set foot in Northeast Ohio, you guys would be 10 times worse than us. That's what he's saying.
I got no more. Next call. I didn't go to Arizona for the football program, buddy. Just put it that way. You like we were 3-10 the year I committed to Arizona. I had offers to Ohio State, Clemson. They were all top 2 in the world in college football. I went to Arizona, not because the football program was, ranked top 10 every year.
Well, I went to Kent State because we invented the plasma TV.
Well, we have a very good NASA program. We send a lot of rockets to space.
We're top 5 in fashion programs.
We have a top 25 business school that I was in. Then I dropped out because my brother was in it and it looked really hard. So I dropped out to marketing and science.
Well, you're not going to beat this one.
Yeah.
Kent State, on my official visit, told me we have a top 2 tasting tap water in America.
Well, talking about top 2 tasting things, I learned what jungle juice was because of the University of Arizona, and that's a top tasting drink.
Can't beat that. Next call.
All right, I knew Arizona was better.
This season, Drake May will be a top 5 MVP candidate.
Oh, man, these are some hot takes. That last take was hot. This one's even hotter, I think.
Pump the brakes.
Pump the brakes. Drake May's a great quarterback, has a good team around him now. I can see him being a top 5 candidate for MVP in the future, maybe year 3, 4, 5 or something along those lines. But he's not going to be a top 5 candidate this year. I mean, Stephon Diggs, a great, addition. We still don't know how he's going to be coming off the ACL surgery. Sure, it looks great and all right now. He had coming off the worst line last year, new head coach with Vrabel. Obviously, everything looks great, but to be a top 5 candidate in MVP, pump the brakes. Too soon.
A little too soon. He's well on his way to becoming a good football player, a good quarterback. You can't throw in great yet.
No.
It's just there's too many variables in this sport.
Yes.
For
too
him
many.
to just have that crazy of a leap.
Yes.
New offensive coordinator, so he's going to be juggling new protections, new calls, new language, new players to get used to. Now, you expect Drake to be a lot better this year because he's got a year under his belt. He knows he knows the area, he knows the team. He's a little more comfortable. Now it's up to him to go out and he has to learn again. He's got to learn a new system again. He's got to learn a new this again. He's got to learn his new players again. So this is all part of the process of building this kid. But I let's pump the brakes. Let's just try to make the playoffs before we talk about MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Next question.
I think the addition of George Pickens to the Cowboys team is single-handedly the reason the Cowboys will win the Super Bowl this year.
This guy has definitely drank way too many Coors Lights.
Yeah.
I mean, he's out of his mind. He's probably 25 beers deep. He's got to be. If just the addition of George Pickens, I mean, there's so many other things that the Cowboys had to address, and they had one of the worst off seasons of all time this year that they're saying. I mean, just because you add a talented player doesn't mean you're going to be that much better. They had a great wide receiver group last year, and they didn't even make the playoffs. They got worse from the year before. But no, I don't think that makes them a Super Bowl team this year.
Yeah, I think the best you've gotten out of Dak Prescott is when he's had a really good running back and he could be a play action quarterback. I think George Pickens is going to help. He's going to be help, on the X. He's going to help CeeDee Lamb, who can break the intermediate part of that coverage. And you got Pickens going down deep. He's going to be able to make 50-50 balls. He's going to be able to make those back shoulder catches. But, when they're trying to win a game, 4-minute offense, they don't have Ezekiel Elliott. They don't got one of those guys that they can give the ball to with their new fresh offensive line.
Ezekiel Elliott in his prime.
In his prime. You know what I mean? But that's when these guys were really good, when they had Zeke and they had, who was the guy? Pollard, who was playing really well. When they've had a really good running back, that's when the Cowboys have been really good. And that's when Dak has been really good.
Amen to that, Jules.
So I like the addition, and
Jules Madden right now.
Well, I think Dak will be able to. Dak's got the personality to be able to handle both Pickens and CD, because those guys, those guys want the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And it's tough for a quarterback, but I think if they got to get a running back. So let's pump the brakes on the Super Bowl.
Last one. Here we go. Let's hear. I love these hot takes.
Who
I'm a
that
hot
said
take
they're
guy.
going to beat them Saints? Hey, Aaron Rodgers may not want to come down here. I don't want your ass anyway, pal. Whatever quarterback starting for the Saints throwing 1,000 more yards than his ass, you can print that.
All right. Well, first off, you said Aaron Rodgers may not want to come down here. Well, he doesn't. It's not May. There's not even like a question. Is he going to possibly come down? He's not coming down there. He just stated that he's too old to live in Louisiana, and he's too old to play for the Saints. And your hot take, whatever quarterback is starting for the Saints, if Aaron Rodgers does even play this year, if he does, he may retire. That's why he hasn't signed with a team. He's still contemplating. I mean,
got some shit going on,
good
too.
for him. I mean, the guy deserves it. He's in his 40s, played this long. That star of a player, he can do whatever he wants. Take however long you want to take. But if Aaron Rodgers does sign with an NFL team, probably the Pittsburgh Steelers, preferably, I prefer that as well, because it would make the NFL that much better, and it would make that division fun as well. He will not throw for 1,000 yards less than the New Orleans Saints quarterback.
No, he's going to throw for more. Whoever,
Yeah.
who's they drafted?
Who is
someone,
the
right?
Saints quarterback? You don't even have a quarterback. That's why you're mad. Tyler Schlong. The guy will be too busy playing with his ding-a-ling because that's his name.
Kellen Moore, can you get him right? I mean, look, you can say what you want to say about Aaron Rodgers. He was looking pretty good the back 8 of last year when his Achilles started to feel good. So I'm not saying any of those.
No chance.
No chance.
Aaron Rodgers is going to throw for more yards than the New Orleans Saints quarterback.
If he plays.
If he decides that he wants to play in the NFL.
I think so.
Year.
I think
so too. I think it's going to happen.
He
I really
better.
do.
We need
better.
I like when Aaron's
Yeah, it makes it better. Even though the Jets had the worst year, it made the Jets that much better to talk about and to watch. Even make it watchable. Who will ever watch the Jets? No one. It made it watchable. Oh, the Patriots are playing the Jets. It's Rodgers quarterback. Let's watch the Patriots versus Jets.
Aaron Rodgers has that.
He has that it factor to bring in the fans, bring in the crowd, be talked about. And imagine just him on the Steelers. I mean, Pittsburgh's going to be involved big time. All the eyes are going to be on him in Pittsburgh. Everyone's going to be ecstatic there. The whole outside world, too, is going to be watching.
And every Pittsburgh fan's bitching and moaning about it. Once Aaron Rodgers goes there and they may start like 2-3-0, they're going to love him.
Mm-hmm.
If you win in Pittsburgh, they love you. It don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what you do off the field, in the locker room, what you're doing while you're taking a dump. If you win, you're loved in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh loves you.
Yeah.
That's the goddamn truth.
Kind of like any NFL city. But that's like to another level.
Yeah, Pittsburgh.
Another level.
Pittsburgh loves football, man.
Yeah.
All the freaking Pittsburgh people went to Kent State, so I saw them all.
Oh, I was, where was I? At the Indy 500 yesterday. Some Pittsburgh fans. Oh, go Steelers. I said, I'm made of more steel than your old city. And they loved it. You know, just the way I said it. Yeah. And then they looked at me like, you're right. You did dominate us. You were made of more steel. I was like, that's right, buddy. I got him. Got the
most
fans.
Lovable guy.
Yeah.
Goes and talks shit to a Steeler. Yep, Rob, you're right.
You're right. Guy didn't argue anymore. Didn't argue. Told him I'm made of more steel than this whole city.
And that was the chillest dude of the week. Thanks to our favorite beer, Coors Light. Get Coors delivered straight to your door. Visit CoorsLight.com/dudes. And always
celebrate responsibly. Always. And every time I swear, I take a few sips of this, through this segment, I get turned up way more than the whole entire segment. I'm telling you, it's the Coors Light.
It's definitely the Coors Light.
Well, that's been another episode of Dudes on Dudes. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And comment on a dude you want us to do, rate, and review.
Call in and ask questions on the chill line at 561-203-5789. Remember to follow Dudes on Dudes on X, Instagram, YouTube, and Snapchat. Don't forget TikTok. It's still there. And we'll see you guys next week.
Dudes on Dudes is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.